Hello,
Yep.
everyone. I'm Cal Gould here again with another interview in our series on the history of ball hockey. With me, I have a gentleman from the city of Edmonton who's played for quite a few years. He was quite the prolific scorer and played on quite a few successful teams. So let's find out, who are we talking to? What's your name and where are you from?
It's Kevin Sterzer from Edmonton, Alberta, where I've always been. So, it's good to see you, Cal.
What are some of your early memories of playing street hockey or unorganized ball hockey in your youth?
It basically goes back to, probably in the grade 3, grade 4 area would be usually going to my place after school or getting all the guys to go back to my place after school and playing. There was times where we used the snowballs for goalposts before the nets came out. Then we'd buy the nets finally, and that was like being in the big leagues when you got the nets out. So that basically went from grade 4 till we were in our 30s, 40s, 50s actually when we stopped playing road hockey. I had a tournament I ran for 30 years, the Christmas Cup here in Edmonton. So that so 40 plus years of road hockey, and that obviously all helped with the ball hockey days too. So
what community was that in, and was it school friends you were playing with, or just neighborhood friends, or both?
So I grew up in the Holyrood area, so it was a combination of buddies from Otwell, Strathern, Holyrood. So I grew up in the Holyrood area, went to Holyrood School, Otwell Junior High, and Bonnie Doon High School. So it was all a group of buddies from those days, and even in high school, it was go to my place after school and not do any homework, just get out and play some road hockey. So that continued for many years. So didn't matter what the temperature was, we were out there just like a lot of kids were. So the good old days. So.
Did you play any organized sports other than ball hockey in your youth or later on?
I did. I played ice hockey right from my youth days of 6, 7 years old, and then into bantam, midget, Southside Athletic Club, up till midget, and that was it for me. I basically packed her in from there. I went to Nate. I never ended up playing or anything. My brother was at Nate, and my brother played St. Albert, all that stuff. But I watched a lot of him still after I was done. But I played up to midget, Southside Athletic Club. So I enjoyed my times in ice hockey. So.
How did you join the ball hockey league you first became involved with? What I mean by that is, did you join with some friends? Did you get invited? Did you answer a newspaper ad? How exactly did you join?
Well, that goes back to the road hockey days, because I still remember the day actually we were playing road hockey. It was some buddies from high school and I, Craig Collier, Dave Walker, Russ Reeder were the 3 guys that I actually went to high school with. And we played our first year together in ball hockey because Craig played for the Edmonton Huskies, and we were playing road hockey one day, and he came over and he said, "Kevin, you want to play ball hockey this year?" And that was, of course, before I even knew there was ball hockey league or indoor playing in rinks and all that stuff. And he said he's got a buddy, George Botelho, who played for the Edmonton Huskies. And George was really the guy that got me going in ball hockey from day one. So Craig gave me the invite. I came out, played for the Bulldogs from 88 till 97 probably. And then I went on to, it was the Playboys, but we all know what happened there. And they became the Edmonton Boys for a year, and then played for the Rock, the Snipers, about 7 or 8 different teams, 6 teams probably in total. But so George Botelho is the guy that really got me going. He coached and ran our team from 88 till about 93. So about 6 years. And then he was still a part of us. He'd come out and watch our games, but George is the guy. He was the guy, and he was a great guy.
How old were you when you first joined the league, and were the players that you were playing with the same age or different ages?
So my first year was in 88, I think, when we started. So I would have been turning 20 that summer. So I was 19. My first year I was 19 with the Bulldogs. We started at a first ever game. I remember being at Westwood Arena. Me and Craig and Russ and Dave were probably the youngest guys on the team. But we were all pretty close. It was all anywhere from 18 to 26 years old. That was back when there was only 4 divisions. So we started in Div 4. We had to start in Div 4. And I think we lost our first game, and then we won our next 21. We ended up 21-1, I think, that year. So, it was a fun year. One of the funnest years I ever had, actually. So,
All right, so you mentioned the Bulldogs was the first team you played on. I clearly remember that what was unique about the Bulldogs, being a new team especially, was they had a coach. And the coach, as you mentioned, was George Botelho. How long did he coach, and how did you find it having to play for a team that actually had a coach, whereas most ball hockey teams, especially men's, there was very rarely a coach, or maybe it was a coaching player?
Well, George coached us right from day one when he started booking outdoor rinks. We were practicing on outdoor rinks and the odd indoor gym. We'd be in the gym, and Commonwealth Gym is where we do a lot of tryouts actually back in those days. But he coached us for about 6 years, and I thought it was great because it was nice to have, someone organize your team and not have to worry about while you're playing, running the bench and all that stuff, which I tended to do a lot when I was with the Bulldogs. So it was nice to have George there because he would basically, okay, this is what's going on and let's go with it kind of thing. And everyone went with it, and we all got along very well. And sure, there's the odd game where stuff happens, but it was a good group. It was a good, fun group, and him coaching for 5 or 6 years, it was great.
You played 6 years approximately with the Bulldogs. Do you remember who you played with next, or a few of the other teams you already mentioned?
George coached for about 5-6 years, but then I was still with the Bulldogs. We kind of, I don't know. I don't even honestly know what happened. He didn't run the team anymore. So it was myself, Ken Park, who's still my best friend to this day. He was one of the goalies on our team, him and Mike Uvich. But Ken and I were pretty much running the team from about 94 till 97. So yeah, from 88 till 97, I was with the Bulldogs. Then it was Edmonton Boys, the Rock, Snipers, and then that was pretty much it. I ended it with the Rock, so that was all Div 1 stuff. So the Bulldogs, we started in Div 4, then we won, and we went right to Div 2. Then we went to Div 1 our third year, and it was a challenge. We had to make a lot of changes. Obviously, it was a lot better hockey. So, but yeah, it was good times the whole time with the Bulldogs.
How would you? What was your impression of the ball hockey league that you played in comparison to other organized sports that you played? How did you feel about it?
It was different. It was good. It was well run, well organized. I mean, coming out of midget bantam hockey and stuff, everything's set for you. You're still a kid more or less, and then you're 18, 19 now. You're kind of, you're in a league now that it's well run. I always thought it was well run. So Steve Posovic, I guess, would have been the main guys running it back in the days, when I started. So, but we played against him too. So we had a few run-ins with back in the days, but I'm sure you remember those days well.
Okay, my next question has to deal with whether or not you were involved in the sport in any other way than a player, like as a referee, coach, manager, volunteer, anything like that at all.
I never did ref. I coached, I helped Ken Park coach his wife's team, the women's team back in, that would have been 2000, probably 4 or 5, somewhere in there, because I was playing for the Rock at the time. And I still remember missing the city final game. We won the cities that year for the Rock. It would have been 2004, I think. But I hurt my ankle, so I didn't play the final game. So I was actually over and helping coach the women's game in the same arena, because it was I think it was at the West End. I can't remember. And they were playing on one rink for the city final while our team was playing on the other rink. So I didn't go to the Rock game that day. I said, I'm going to go coach these guys. I can't play anyways. So, I helped coach that women's team that year. Other than that, not really. Just more or less playing for all the years, but would have been fun. Coaching's always fun. So,
when you first entered the league in 1988, there had already been a introduction of a new tier, which was Tier 2 in 1987. You played in Tier 2 in the first 2 or 3 years. Then you said you went to Tier 1. Did you always stay in Tier 1 after that, or did you move back down to the lower divisions later on in your career?
So the first year as an 19-year-old, 19-year-old, I would have been in Division 4. Then we won that division, went to Div 2. We won that division. We won the cities in Div 2 that year, so we moved right to Div 1. So from, I guess, 21 years old till, I played right till 2006, all Div 1, except for 1 year. No, that would have been, so I played till 2007. I think my very last year, which I think was 2007 or 8, was a year a bunch of old Bulldog guys wanted to get together and just make a team. And I went back and played a year Div 2 with them. And then that was it. I quit playing after that. I said I'd come play one last year with them. And then just funny enough, I guess it would have been 2000. I don't know if it was 16 or 17, somewhere in there. We were all getting close to 50 by then anyways. We got a team together, the Snipers, and a bunch of us older guys that played Div 1 our whole lives against each other and with each other. We made a team in Div 3 or 4. I can't remember what Div it was. And we ended up winning that year against a bunch of young guys. So it was kind of fun. And that's my last year I played. I guess I was 49 probably that year. I only played half the year because, it's not the same. So, but that was it. Yeah.
I want to ask you about your particular style of play. Personally, I do know that you have a very effective shot. You were a leading scorer in the league more than once. You had a very high goal scoring seasons. What is it that gave you your effectiveness on the floor as an offensive player?
You always got to be good with your line mates and have the right line mates and stuff. But I did have some great line mates through my days with whatever team I did play on. But I always like to be more of a not just shoot, but I'd like to be a passer too. So I like to look at myself as not only could I shoot, because I found I could shoot the ball well, but I was big at passing too. I like to pass. So that way it gave me two parts of the game where it couldn't just concentrate on shooting, that they had to worry about my passing too. So I always, found it made a person a more effective player if they had both parts of that game. And I found myself that I could pass and shoot. So, but as for line mates, had some great line mates through my days too. And that always helps.
I want to talk now about the types of arenas that you played in. When you first started in the league in the city of Edmonton, hockey rinks were often used as the arenas for ball hockey. They had full plexiglass around the boards. But when in 1994 came along, they went into the soccer centers. The one specific difference was that there was no plexiglass along the sideboards. There was only around the back portion of the arena. How did you find you had to adapt your game to that different arena design?
It was a big change because you were so used to your Santa Rosas and Westwoods where the roof was always low and you didn't have that flip pass to get out of your end. It was more always up the boards or maybe a dangerous pass up the middle. Who knows? But Westwood and Santa Rosa and Coronation, if I recall, was fairly low roof. I can't remember. Maybe not as low as the other two, but then you had the netting at the soccer centers, so it was a totally different game. I love the old rinks. I wish we always would have used them myself. So I loved playing at Santa Rosa, Westwood. Just those are the best memories of playing in the old rinks. And the newer generation obviously never got to play in the rinks that are always been the soccer centers, but it's too bad because those are the times playing in the old rinks that I like the most. So
let's talk about your success on teams you played with and as an individual. Did you play in any provincials, nationals, regionals? What were the levels that you played at in tournaments?
So would have been at first, it would have been provincials through the 90s. We won a silver in 94, the Bulldogs. We pulled it off somehow. We almost beat the Playboys in the final. They beat us 6-5 and the West Stars got beat out by the Playboys. So that was a big one there. And then we got to the final, but we got a silver that year. After that year, I think I won 3 golds with the Rock, maybe in provincials, 2 or 3. Some silvers, unfortunately. It was always us battling the Snipers in the final. The Fat Boys got in there too, and some good teams there. Usually the 3 of us, the Snipers and Rock, were usually the the two, but the fat boys were up there too, and we were always battling it out against each other. I think I got about 3 or 4 provincial golds, somewhere in there, and then a couple silvers, and then in 2001, myself, Jeff Willen, Mike Ugovich, we got asked to play at nationals with the Snipers in Vancouver, and those are guys we played against for so many years, but we came together down there, and we had a really good team down there, and we were a minute away from going to the gold medal game against, I think the Midnight Express, beat us, if I recall. The Toronto team, who had won many years in a row already at that time. And we were winning late. They scored a late one. They beat us in overtime to go to the gold medal game. So we ended up going to the bronze in 2001 at Vancouver. And it was just a great time, great memories. And that was the biggest one, is winning a bronze at nationals. Was bigger than any provincial gold or anything. So, but yeah, numerous ones there that were enjoyable.
When I was talking about the new soccer centers, you were there at the inaugural game being played in the soccer center in the West End. Do you recall who you played in that first game?
I do, because I'm pretty sure you posted that. Otherwise, I would have totally forgot about that until I saw that picture with Malcolm Stinson and I at center ice there, the first ever game, and against the Playboys. We played at the West Arena for the first game ever, and I'm assuming it was April of '94. But yeah, how we did that game, I got no idea. But that's the year we ended up playing them in the final, the provincial final, and they beat us 6-5. So
now let's get into talking about what are some of your personal favorite memories playing ball hockey. And I want to ask you, what is some of your favorite memories collectively on a team you played with, or just by yourself, like something that you remember was a personal favorite memory?
Like a lot of guys that have played sports or anything, really, it's meeting your buddies, just you're hanging out with your buddies at ball hockey, and dressing room talk, just after game talk, going out, whatever. Games are always great too if you're doing well. If you're not doing well, it's not so fun. But a lot of good memories from my first year as a Bulldog with just a bunch of guys I met that year, and we all turned out to be really good friends and still are, quite a few of us today. And then just a lot of good teams throughout that I played for that were always very competitive, and one of the top teams, fortunately. So, but yeah, a lot of good memories with teams and some good individual memories I have too. But mostly as teams, it's fun to, some great guys that you meet through the days. And yeah.
Are you still involved in ball hockey in any way? Or do you plan to still be involved in ball hockey? No,
I haven't been. The only thing I've done is watching buddies' kids play, and I've gone out and watched here and there. But when I quit, when I had my daughter back in 2010, I was pretty much done right around then. And it's more or less just going out to watch a buddy's son play or his daughters play, just that kind of stuff. Other than that, I've barely been at a ball hockey rink other than that year I played when I came back to the Snipers that year. And I'd always said when I was younger, geez, I can't see me ever quitting this game. I'm going to play till I'm 50, 55 years old. But I guess we can't all be like Doug McCarthy or Malcolm Stinson and keep on going forever. So,
did you have any other family members that played the sport of ball hockey?
My brother played before I even knew there was ball hockey, and I didn't even know he played. He was playing with the Emperors, I think, one year. So I think he was on that team with, if I recall, Gary Volk was on the team, and you would probably know better than me. Podlosky might have been on the team. Delaselle, there was one or two of them. I can't remember. But there was some guys he played junior hockey with. He from St. Albert and stuff, and he played against in Sherwood Park. But he played 1 year with the Emperors. Other than that, he never played ball hockey after that. He went on to college hockey and in Germany and all that too. He played in Germany for a year, and Nate Ukpix with Perry Pern. So he never did get into ball hockey much. In fact, I don't even know if he ever came to watch one of my games through all the years we played.
What do you feel has made the greatest impact on the growth of the sport?
Probably just how organized it is, like coaching, reffing. There's schools, I think, as far as I know, that the kids are going to, and access to rinks, just there's so much more access now to getting out and working on your game than ever, probably, than there was back when we were playing. It was basically back in our days finding an outdoor rink and hoping that it's not being used or you can get over the boards. But nowadays it seems like they got more access to being prepared to play the game more than ever. So just the organization, I think, in general of ball hockey has made things big. So
what advice would you give to someone that wants to play the sport of ball hockey?
Go out and play, and I guess decide if you want to play to be serious or if you want to just play for fun. There's lower divisions. I don't know how many divisions there are these days. I'm not even sure if there's 10 or 12 or 15 or whatever there is. But if you want to go out and have fun, just get exercise. There's always lower levels. But if you want to go out and play serious and take the game serious, then work on your game and make your way up, because there's always someone up at the higher levels that notice people that play the lower divisions. And even my last few years, we found a couple of guys that were playing Div 3, 4 that we ended up bringing up, and they ended up being really good with our team on the Rock there too. So just work at your game, and if you want to play for fun, play for fun. If not, go hard and take it serious.
Is there a person, if they were here right now, that you would want to thank for getting you involved in the sport of ball hockey?
Oh, 100%. It would be George Botelho. So, I told him, I was chatting with him the other day. I told him, I said, I never would have played probably if it wasn't for him. So I don't know how I would have or how I would have heard. Maybe I would have through the grapevine or something. I would have heard that ball hockey was a sport, but if up till that day, I wouldn't have had a clue. So yeah, George was a huge part of getting me into ball hockey and helping run the team for as long as he did, whether it was buying the jerseys or organizing to get our jerseys and team bags, whatever it was, and setting practices for us and games, whatever it may be. George was definitely the guy I would thank, and I have thanked and always will thank, for getting me involved in the sport.
Now, my next question has to do with where the sport of ball hockey is now. As you know, but just making sure our viewers know here, ball hockey has gone to the international level at all levels. There's men's, women's, under 17, under 18, under 15, etc. So the growth of the sport isn't in question, and the overall competitiveness is fantastic. Knowing that it's gone to that level, what would you hope to see for the future of ball hockey?
Well, I always thought it would be very cool. I mean, it's great that it's got as big as it is now, where it's got to an international level. When I was playing, it wasn't it was at the end there. It was like in the early 2000s when it became worlds and stuff. But it would be amazing if it became an Olympic sport one day, because I see other sports in there that I go, why is this an Olympic sport half the time? But then I think ball hockey would be, at the best level of ball hockey, it's a fun sport to watch. So, if it got to the Olympic level, that would be amazing. It's never going to go pro. I know that. I mean, there's too many other things going on, but I don't think it'll ever become a pro sport. But to be an Olympic sport, that would be a huge achievement. So
now, I've asked you all these questions. You were great at giving me those answers. Is there anything you want to add or share with the viewers that I have not asked you a question about?
No, other than, I mean, whoever's watching, if you got a young kid, and it's a great sport. I mean, I played ice hockey from the age of 6 till, midget, whatever, and then in men's league after that. But my days in ball hockey, I had more fun than I did playing ice hockey for all those years. So it's a great sport. And there's a lot of guys that I played against that played in, whether it was pro or WHL or university hockey, and got to know them fairly well too. And they enjoyed the sport too. They loved it. Doug McCarthy would be the best example, right? I mean, here's the guy that played such good ice hockey over in Scotland. Where was he? In Britain there. He was in Britain getting 500 points a year, and his great days in the U of A. This guy played some really good ice hockey, and he loved ball hockey. I think he always said that ball hockey was his, I may be wrong here, if I am, sorry, Doug, but that ball hockey was he had his most fun, I think, playing ball hockey. So to any parents out there, it's a great sport. So
actually, I do recall one specific thing that I never forget it, what Doug McCarthy said. He said, a lot of people will comment about ball hockey, running on concrete, making it hard on your legs or knees or whatever. He said that, man has only been skating on ice for maybe a few hundred years, couple hundred years at most, but we've been running for 2 million years.
Yeah.
So it's natural to run. So it's actually
That's
not
right.
so hard on the body as some might think or worry about.
Yeah.
And he's an attestment to he can attest to that most because he's played so long and his legs are in great shape and being able to run so far. And there's other players that have that longevity also. So although he stands out as being a great competitor, I know some people that haven't played as high of a competition, but they've played for many years, and they can still run, and that's all that matters. Even if they're running slower, they're still running.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's that's the one thing I will say that I have felt more in the last 5 years than ever is my knees. Because playing for, I guess I played 23 years or 22 years of ball hockey. And other than 1 or 2 years, I didn't miss a lot of games. So that's a lot of games to play. And you throw in your playoffs and provincials and nationals, your knees do take a bit of a beating. And it's different than hockey, obviously. Ice hockey, you're not, like anyone knows, ice hockey is obviously a great sport and you're skating around, but we know you can glide. Ball hockey, if you're standing there in ball hockey, you look stupid. So you need to be moving all the time pretty much. So and it's a heck of a workout. So
great. Thank you very much, Kevin. I appreciate your time. It's been great talking with you.
You're welcome. Have a good future there down in Carolina. I heard 30 degrees there today. Enjoy yourself.